Standby playback. Roll music. Cue Paul.
Hey, I'm not a rocker. I'm a roller.
I'm a rocker, I'm a roller, I'm a ride out of controller, I'm a wheeler, I'm a dealer, I'm a weekend movie stealer, I'm a bruiser.
I had no idea until we worked together that there were so many four-letter words that could be used in casual business conversation, as Paul discovered and invented. You just have to cringe when you think about high-powered investment bankers and global pension fund mandarins sitting around a boardroom table while Paul told them in no uncertain terms what he thought of that piece of shit building in that f***ing location in that piece of shit town. There was no question what Paul thought at the end of any conversation. He is not enigmatic.
I didn't get a college education. I went to Penn State University and took turfgrass management to be a golf course superintendent. The defining moment was one person, as it often is. It's somebody who was a mentor, but he was a little more than that. He was more of a champion too, where his partners would say that you can't load anything more on Paul. He's only 22 years old. He's already got the sod farm. Don't send him to Edmonton to do leasing. His attitude would be, he's got big shoulders. He'll be fine. Let's let him do it. My resume didn't look like I was the perfect person to be involved in with Campbell, with Bramley, or any of these jobs. I learned to work hard early because I was always apologizing for not having an education, not being a lawyer, not being an MBA, not being a CFA, not being whatever it was at the time. So I kind of felt like I had to work harder. I like to get in early so I could read the stuff that the lawyers would hit me with later, so I'd be as smart as they were.
Well, some people might assume that as a rocker really doesn't get going till 10 o'clock at night. And, I wouldn't say Paul's ever actually seen midnight.
Paul starts his workday at about 4:15 in the morning.
My experience with Paul getting to know him in Calgary was, of course, the first day. I'm there at 6:30, as I would be on a regular day those days. And Paul was already there and the coffee was on.
I got an email from him the other day at 3:36 a.m.
We were having workout at the same club, and I thought I was going early. As a matter of fact, I had this special permission to go in at 5 o'clock.
The next day I was there at 6:10. Paul was there and the coffee was on.
He goes to the office before he goes to the gym because the gym only opens at 5 o'clock.
When I came in at 5, he was finishing his workout.
Third day I was there at 5:45. And Paul was there and the coffee was on.
So I don't know at what time he was coming in, but it was very, very early.
Third day I show up at 5, almost had to sleep over. And I did catch Paul coming in the office. So the role was set.
When we hired Paul as president of SITQ, the company was already a well-established Canadian real estate operation, but had very few investment outside Canada. His mandate was to open to other countries, open to other, real estate, and a lot of it he did by himself. Went abroad, met people, got friendly with important real estate actors in those markets, and the deals came in very rapidly. One of the biggest things he did as president of SITQ is the way he prepared himself for the 2008 recession. As early as the second half of 2006 and during all the year 2007, he started selling the company's most vulnerable and non-core assets with the objective of having a large amount of liquidity when the coming down market came. And as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the crisis, he had quite a war chest accumulated, ready to be deployed at the right time.
The bigger markets are the best markets. We focused on New York, London, Paris. Why? Because those are some of the biggest office markets in the world. And you were relatively sure that you could always get product in and get product out because they had deep markets.
Paul had the ability to judge risk. And I think that largely comes from an operating background. I mean, he's leased space, he developed from the ground up. He has been at the front line of the real estate and customer-facing jobs. And so Paul grew judgment and a conviction. And Paul had the self-confidence and ability to act on those judgments.
He's got the vision, he's got the work ethic, he's got the math. But I think what Paul has that has made him so successful is he gets the most and the best out of everyone around him. He inspires loyalty.
If I had two choices in front of me, one was big company, big name, I'd start my first job or second job in a smaller company because I believe, I'm not sure this is true, but I believe that I'm going to get more exposure to more property types. Even if it's only one property type, I'm going to get exposed to have to collect rents, have to renew a guy's lease, have to get the snow off the roof. You know, that's how you learn stuff. It's hard when you get a big organization on day one or day two in your second job to get that kind of exposure. You'll get one job, you'll be an analyst, you know, when you get stuck in an office and you never talk to a tenant. Talking to tenants, whether it's office buildings or shopping centers, is really our business.
He's skilled at relationships, at ideas, and Paul doesn't give up.
I remember many times we'd think that we'd have a deal analyzed and we're about to prepare an offer, and Paul would say, okay, take me through this one more time and pretend I'm a 5-year-old. And that usually meant that Paul had put his finger on the flaw in the deal, or we'd overthought it, and as we'd go through it, it wasn't long until we looked like the 5-year-old.
I would always say the same thing to people, I think, a few things. One is try and hire the young people on attitude, not just on education. To the people who are looking for the job, I would say, don't be limited by the company. Go to the small company that sounds goofy just as fast as you go to the big company that sounds terrific. And don't be stuck in Toronto. The most important thing I did 3 times was leave Toronto. Most important thing I did in my career. When you're awarded something like this, I think you should always thank your parents, obviously, and I thank my wife who's been with me for 45 years. But you also have to thank the country you're in. I mean, we're awfully lucky to be born in this country. And as you travel around more, I spent time in India and China and Russia and places like that, you realize this is the best place on earth. It really is.
I consider Paul a friend, a mentor, colleague, and I'm delighted that he's being recognized by the industry as one of the good guys. Because Paul, you've done a great job, and you're a great friend. Rock on.
I know, my friend, you may disagree, but you're a rocker, not a roller. Congratulations, we're all so proud of you.
Paul, you're a rocker and a roller. Well deserved.